Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the students, faculty, and the H.D. Woodson community, I want to welcome you here. Every day that I enter this school, I enter for one reason, for the students. All of my students are stars. So it's only fitting for you to hear from one of our stars tonight. Please welcome Aaron Boucher.
Thank you, Principal Slade. Good evening, guests. My name is Aaron Boucher, and I am a proud member of the class of 2015 here at H.D. Woodson Senior High School. I know many of you are familiar with our school's former nickname, the Tower of Power. While the tower is gone, I am proud to show you that the power of the school lives on. Our school's namesake, Howard Dilworth Wilson, was one of D.C.'s preeminent African-American civil engineers and architects. He was also an active civic leader in the Deanwood community. In honor of his great legacy, this school has not just been rebuilt, it has been redefined. Today, Woodson is a STEM academy. It is the center of educational excellence in science, technology, engineering, and math. I stand before you as a Woodson warrior who strives to live out all the values that Howard Woodson set before us. I am an honor roll scholar, currently taking 3 AP courses, but it is also important to me to make the time to give back. I tutor elementary school students through the National Baseball Academy, and I'm currently training with the Red Cross to be a lifeguard. I'm grateful for the friends that I made here, and I'm grateful for my teachers who've always believed in me to do better, and to push me to do better than ever before to pursue my dreams as an engineer. This is my DCPS school. This is where I learn, and this is where I thrive. Simply put, I love it here. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to stand next to my principal, Dr. Slade, and introduce to you one of the most dedicated and fearless leaders in education. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chancellor Kaya Henderson.
I want to thank Principal Slade and Aaron for that wonderful introduction. It's the dedicated and ambitious students like Aaron that remind me that I have the absolute best job in this city. Good evening, friends. Good evening. Really? Okay, let's start all over. Good evening, friends. Good evening. All right. I am thrilled to welcome you tonight to the Chancellor's address. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And I want to extend a warm welcome to our friends who are watching via webcast. I'm especially proud to deliver tonight's address from H.D. Woodson Senior High School. As Aaron mentioned, this year, the school kicked off a full-fledged STEM academy with 120 10th and 11th graders who are engaged in rigorous coursework in computer science, engineering design, integrated manufacturing, green engineering, and environmental science. They're developing critical thinking skills on topics from renewable energy to global issues to robotics. In fact, just last year, a team of students from Woodson tackled a project to make the nearby Marvin Gaye Park safer for the community. How did they do it? They devised a plan to harness energy from the sun by building solar panels that would generate enough power to light the park at night. And their plan was so good that they were chosen out of 2,300 applications from schools all across the country, and they were one of the 15 finalists in Samsung's Solve for Tomorrow STEM competition. And they won $35,000. And we are just getting started at Woodson. You see, this isn't a trendy thing for us to do. We're preparing our students for the future. Through these kinds of immersive experiences, students are applying what they're learning in their classrooms to develop real-world solutions to real-world problems. That's what it's all about, preparing our students for success, starting now, but continuing through college and into the workforce. In last year's address, I laid out a vision for DC Public Schools. How many people were here last year? Raise your hand. Remember I told you close your eyes, don't worry about your pocketbooks? I will not ask you to close your eyes this year. But I shared with you that we will become the best school system in the country. A school system where every single person in this room would be proud to send their child to any school in this city. We're aiming for great schools with a variety of engaging academic offerings and nurturing cultures and climates. But most of all, we are committed to ensuring, 100% committed in fact, that every child attending a DCPS school is held to the same high standards, has the same rich experiences, and has equal access to the same level of learning resources, whether they live west of the park, east of the river, or anywhere in between. I have great confidence, in fact, that we are several steps closer to realizing this vision than we were last year. And you will too, when you hear about the great things happening in DCPS. Gone are the days when we were the lowest performing school district in the country. In fact, in an event this past August that was broadcast all over the United States, the U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, shared that when people ask him where to look to see a model of where education is going well, he tells them to look to DCPS. It's the first district that comes to mind. I can't say that any other United States Secretary of Education has ever stood with us and declared that we were the model to learn from. In fact, locally and nationally, Secretary Duncan has touted our recent successes as the fastest improving urban school district in the country. But we don't just want urban, we want to be the very best, period, the end, and we're on our way. Now we know that we're not yet where we want to be, with only half of our students reading and doing math proficiently, even though that's more than ever before. The most recent CAS scores show that students made slight gains in math and maintained their growth from last year in reading. And these results support what I continue to say over and over again. We have made tremendous progress, and we still have a long way to go. But I want to be clear. We know what we need to do, and we have what it takes to get there. This school year, we've set the bar even higher to build on student success and accelerate their progress. We're moving more quickly this year to be on track to achieve our goals. To give a world-class education to every young person in this city, we have to go faster and we have to push farther together. That's what's happening in DCPS this year. On the first day of school, I visited several schools and classrooms, and I can only describe the very best school opening in the 17 years that I've been in DCPS. How do I know? First of all, I got not one call or email on the first day of school complaining about something. I had to check and make sure that the server and the phones were working. I talked to my friends at 311 and said, "Are you getting a bunch of calls?" And they said, "No." Teachers were engaged, students were being instructed on day one. People were happy and thrilled to be back in school. In fact, at my house, the excitement began even before school started. Our third grader's teacher, Ms. Smith, came to our house to discuss our expectations for Marcus. Not her expectations, not my expectations, our expectations for Marcus. She also talked with him about the kinds of exciting things that she had planned for their classroom this year. He was so excited, first that she came to our house. He wanted to show her everything, every Lego, every stuffed animal, everything. But he was so excited about the things that she shared, the things she was describing, that he was disappointed at the end of the visit to learn that he couldn't go to Ms. Smith's classrooms for another 2 weeks because school wasn't starting yet. This is the work that we do with great partners like the Flamboyant Foundation. Through our unique partnership, families and teachers are empowered to build real relationships through home visits, and by teachers helping parents support their students academically. In record numbers this summer, our teachers stepped out of the comfort zones of their classrooms and stepped into the homes of their students. The progress that we've seen in the classrooms that are using this model has been tremendous, and it confirms for us that engaged families are essential to accelerating student learning. And my 8-year-old wasn't the only person who was excited to go back to class. This year, we opened school with the highest enrollment on the first day of school in 5 years. After a 40-year decline, we are seeing our 3rd year of consecutive enrollment increases. And what that really means is over 2,000 more students than this year last time entered our doors in the month of August. And they are still coming, literally every single day. More families are choosing DCPS, and they're doing so because they see some of the amazing things that I'm seeing during the first weeks of school, and they want in. I saw 1st graders at J.O. Wilson Elementary School eagerly putting their pre-writing skills into action by penning essays about their summer experience. Essays, 1st grade, essays. Now, some of them were 4 and 5 pages long because some of our 1st graders write like this, but they were writing, which rarely happens in the 1st grade. The pages and pages and pages of what they did this summer. I saw students at Phelps Senior High School driving an electric car through the hallways that they built from scratch, demonstrating robots that they designed to shoot hoops, and performing the 7 Stages of Man by Shakespeare, all on the first day of school. I saw seniors at Eastern, from the first graduating class of the new Eastern, donning crowns as they were reviewing their schedules with new AP classes and discussing the colleges that they plan on attending once they graduate. I met some of our youngest scholars in pre-K 3 at Raymond Elementary School, Raymond Education Campus, in fact, as they confidently walked through the halls on their way to lunch with their new friends. They gave me fist bumps and high fives when I asked if they loved their new school. Each of these moments, and so many more, capture the incredible learning environments and school pride that surrounds every single one of our students across this city. From pre-K to 12th grade, let me tell you, when I walk into DCPS classrooms, here's what I see. I see engaged teachers focus on helping all of our students achieve at the highest levels. I see school leaders committed to doing whatever it takes to help our students succeed. I see support staff creating environments where students and their dreams are nurtured. And we're all seeing some new faces around DCPS. Because we've expanded so many of our academic offerings, we have hired over 700 new teachers who join the outstanding ranks of DCPS educators working to ensure that our children have the very best of the best. Some people don't believe we have the best of the best, but I'm telling you what I see every day in our schools. In fact, let me tell you about Powell Elementary School. Principal Janice Docal, is Principal Docal here? Stand up if you're here. Principal Docal started at Powell in 2009. At the time, the school's enrollment was in rapid decline, families were fleeing, and the community was unhappy with almost every aspect of the school. Principal Docal and her awesome team of educators stepped in, and they reached out to the community to transform Powell. Let me tell you, that Powell team does not miss a beat. From student instruction to managing the school's modernization and everything in between, they are on the front lines daily, offering real solutions, teaming with each other and their neighbors, advocating for students and marshaling resources to continuously do more for those students in that community. That's the kind of quality that we're working on at every single one of our schools. Enrollment at Powell has tripled in 4 short years, tripled. And if we can do all of that in 4 years at Powell, we can do that in 4 years across the city. Parents in the community now are proud to send their scholars to Powell. And so are all the families on the long Powell waiting list. This is just one example of the incredible talent and the incredible possibility at DCPS. Thank you, Principal Powell, and your entire team for the work that you do every day. I want you to know that our educators are fiercely working every single day, not just at Powell, but all across the city on behalf of our students. And the real action is in the classroom. If we're gonna go farther, faster, we have to do some things differently. So this year, there are some new things, lots of new things happening in DCPS classrooms. At Johnson Middle School, 6th and 7th grade students are preparing for college now. They are perfecting their note-taking skills. They are learning about which colleges they should think about and what it takes to get there. And they're becoming stronger and more organized scholars through the AVID program. At School Without Walls at Francis Stevens, middle grade students are engaging in exciting enrichment activities like the school newspaper or the math club with new options presented to them every 9 weeks. At Amadon Bowen, students have more time for hands-on project-based learning, and they have more time for recess. How are they doing all this? That's right, you can clap on that. How are they doing all of this? Through a longer school day. 25 schools have answered the call to give the gift of more instructional time to their students by officially adopting an extended school day. By the end of this year, these schools will have added 300 more hours of instruction to the school year. That is an additional month of learning time added to the calendar. The best part is students, teachers, and parents have all shared how much they enjoy this new time at school. That's what's happening in classrooms across DCPS. Just a few years ago, Randall Highlands Elementary School had only 5 computers in the whole building. 5. Now, there are at least 8 to 10 computers in every classroom as the school fully integrates technology into traditional instruction thanks to the blended learning model. Students have a more personalized learning experience and access to the top-of-the-line educational technology. And teachers, like Alexander Brown. Is Mr. Brown here? Yes, no? Well, Mr. Brown was gonna be here, but teachers like Mr. Brown have important information that they can use in real time to better guide their students' learning. Students are happy at Randall Highlands, they're engaged, and they're moving at their own pace. Teachers at Randall Highlands can become more effective more quickly, and the community has rallied around this new way of teaching. In fact, a congresswoman came to visit from Washington State. She wanted to see blended learning in DC public schools, and we took her to Randall Highlands. She was so inspired by what she saw on her visit that she drafted and introduced legislation to help more schools across the country do what Randall Highlands is doing. And Randall Highlands is part of a blended learner feeder pattern. So students will continue technology-based education as they progress through Kramer Middle School and Anacostia High School. To accelerate achievement across DCPS, we have doubled the number of schools with blended learning programs. That's what's happening in DC public schools. To go farther, faster, we have to better help our middle grade students maximize their academic learning and their personal growth in the transition from elementary school to high school. Recognizing this, we've stepped up to support our middle school scholars this year like never before. We're providing students with extra support for their unique social and emotional needs by ensuring that middle grade schools have additional counselors, psychologists, and support staff. I taught middle grade students. The adolescent energy sometimes needs a little corralling, and so it's great to have additional staff to help us and help them. We're ensuring equal access to a variety of subjects that enrich every part of a middle schooler's mind, including world language, music, art, and physical education. And we've infused almost $20 million additional dollars to deliver to our families everywhere in the city the kind of middle grades education that all of our students deserve. That's what's happening in middle grades in DCPS this year. I see people smiling, I see exciting faces, and it all sounds great, right? But if we're real, we know that it's going to take more than academics and more than social and emotional supports to get our young people very excited about school. After all, school is not just academics or technology or a longer school day. School is a second home. And we want all of our students across DCPS to feel like Erin does here at H.D. Woodson. We want them to love their school. So we've committed $5 million to making schools more fun. Fun, like fun, do you have it, right? Fun, it is what makes people happy. It is what I want my 8-year-old to experience, not just at home, but in school, where he spends more of his day than he does with us. Fun, right? From clubs and new extracurricular activities to the arts, more sports, more field trips. Students will have more reasons than ever this year to love school and to love learning. We're adding competitive swimming to our athletics program and stuff like yoga and archery and a whole bunch of other things, right, Heather? And if there is any truth to the saying that a well-fed kid is a happy kid, well, then I'm pleased to announce that we have some pretty tasty new items on the cafeteria menu based on what students told us they enjoy most about our healthy foods. We have some to sample in the gallery walk in the cafeteria, so I might knock you down on the way there to get a taste. That's what's happening for DCPS students. Finally, if we are going to go farther, faster, we have to make better uses of the incredible resources that we have right here in the nation's capital. This summer, a group of parents, teachers, and DCPS staff worked to create 5 field trip opportunities aligned to our curriculum for every single grade through the City as Our Classroom task force. We want our educators to know that field trips are not just something that you do after the test, that field trips are important learning opportunities for our young people all through the year. And so what they did is create lesson plans aligned to the curriculum so that every teacher starts the year with 5 field trips that they don't even have to plan, that take advantage of the amazing resources here in the city. We also started DC Meets Washington this summer, a career exploration program for our middle grade students that exposes them to high-wage, high-demand industries right here in Washington, DC. For example, some of you might have seen in the newspaper this summer, our students visited the National African American History Museum construction site, the one that's going up on the mall by the Washington Monument. And they learned about design and about building principles from a local engineering firm. You could see how wide their eyes opened when they saw how the math and science that they were learning in school can be applied to the world of hard hats and blueprints. They got an insider's view into a bunch of careers in the construction industry, and they absolutely loved it. In fact, some young people are choosing different high school options because they now want to take advantage of the careers that they learned about this summer. This is what's happening in DCPS schools and classrooms. You see why I have the best job in the world, right? I could go on and on and on sharing the great things happening in DCPS schools and classrooms all over the city. But I want to get you to begin thinking about the next frontier. As many of you know, we have to think not only about what we're doing this year, but what we're doing for the years to come if we're going to realize the goals of a capital commitment. You know that we've been focused for the last 7 years on building an amazing force of educators in this district. You know that we've spent the last 3 years building a rigorous Common Core aligned curriculum. Many of you know that we've been engaging students and families in innovative ways. So where are we headed next? Well, we have a lot more work to do on about a zillion fronts, but perhaps the most important work that we have to do is ensuring equity for all of our students. As I mentioned earlier, we want to ensure that every student everywhere, Courtney, has access to a world-class education. To do that, we're focusing on expanding equity in DCPS in 3 different ways. First, we need to expand the equity of academic rigor. We already have a very strong Common Core aligned curriculum that more than 80% of the teachers in our district are using. But we see very different levels of implementation, which results in some teachers holding students to very high standards, while other teachers just aren't. If we're going to ensure that all of our students are getting the very best, we have to deepen the curricular work and guarantee that every single student is being pushed to their full potential through universal experiences and opportunities in the classroom. You'll hear a lot more about that in the coming months. Second, we need to expand equity for our young men and boys of color. Black and Latino males make up 43% of the students in our school district. And even though our proficiency rates have climbed, there's still a considerable gap in achievement between these students and their peers. The academic performance of our young men of color is simply not high enough, and it's not rising fast enough. That's why we've enlisted the help of Dr. Robert Simmons. Stand up, Dr. Simmons. Dr. Simmons is a nationally recognized expert on urban education, and we've asked him to establish the Office of Innovation and Research with a laser-like focus on addressing this men and boys of color issue. In the coming weeks, he will announce our new strategy to improve, expand, and transform the educational experiences of our young men of color. Stay tuned for that. No pressure. Finally, we have to expand equity for our high school students. Let me say that again. We have to expand equity for our high school students. As many of you know, we have revamped and improved our academic and enrichment offerings at our elementary schools and at our middle grade schools. However, as young people graduate from high school, they will face a completely new set of rules for success. Putting on a suit and tie, heading to the interview with a basic resume and a firm handshake will yield no results, no call back, no job. Even before graduating from high school, students will need a portfolio of work that showcases mastery of core subjects, experience with solving real-world problems, deep involvement in a variety of extracurricular activities, and a commitment to community service. You've heard the stories of this 17-year-old that has started her own nonprofit or conducted research that has solved a medical mystery or won 3 gold Olympic medals, right? Today, these are extraordinary exceptions. But tomorrow, these stories will be the norm for our students at DCPS and for high school students across the globe. Preparing our children for this kind of a future, for those kinds of activities, requires us to completely reimagine high school. The old model just isn't gonna cut it anymore. So we've laid the groundwork necessary to re-engineer the educational infrastructure of our high schools to meet the high expectations of the future workforce. From moving to a competency-based approach to graduating students ready for college. Where are my state board friends? Come on, state board friends, raise your hand, thank you. and we are going to partner on this to creating real-world opportunities that equip our students for careers. We have to do things differently in high schools, and we've already started. This school year, every high school features intensive career programming to ensure that students graduate with the most basic requirements anyone, anywhere will need to secure and maintain a high-demand, high-wage job. Expertise, resourcefulness, and resilience. That's what we're teaching in our high schools. This year, we have launched a new initiative where 6 high schools have started career academies made possible by a $2.8 million commitment from Mayor Gray. Did you know that in this city, every year, approximately 30,000 new jobs are created, and only 5% are filled by district residents? Only 5%. Our students deserve the opportunity to fill these jobs in their own city. The majority of these positions are within the fields of engineering, information technology, and hospitality. And so we're going to prepare them for those careers. Our newly launched career academies are modeled from the National Academy Foundation and are focused on giving students experiences and real hard skills in those areas. In addition to intense career academies with university partners in many cases from all across the city, our students in these career academies are also mentored by industry leaders. I see Thomas Penny from the Marriott Corporation, who mentors a number of our young people in the hospitality industry. Daryl McKissick, who is a preeminent architect and developer in this city, who mentors our young people in engineering. And they participate in internships with top companies all across the city. Just this past summer, 4 McKinley Tech IT students interned with Microsoft. You heard? They developed a business plan for a new computer game, and Microsoft was so impressed with their plan that through a partnership with 1776, a local IT incubator, they are giving these students in-kind software, workspace in the 1776 office, and mentoring to create their own startup company. A senior at Wilson High School this year who participated in the school's career program traveled to sunny California for a paid internship at 3D Robotics this summer. His project at 3D Robotics focused on developing a drone that has the ability to follow you wherever you go. A drone, scary, yes, and he worked on developing software, tracking software for the drone. And it's scary, yes, but it's where we're going, and we want to make sure that our young people have access to those jobs. That's the work of the career programming that we're focused on. We're bringing our students out of the box immersive experiences that are life-changing, igniting a passion to pursue what in many cases is a previously unfamiliar career path. They get industry certifications, and our students are guaranteed to graduate from high school with real skills. As I've said, we have to do more to expand equity for our high school students, and we've just gotten started. But to move further faster with our high schoolers, we're now offering more AP classes at all of our high schools than ever before. Collectively, students can take across the city over 150 AP classes in a variety of subjects, including AP Chinese, AP Environmental Science, right here at H.D. Woodson, and AP Studio Art and Drawing. Demand for these courses is up. Kids want to take them. AP enrollment, in fact, in DCPS is at an all-time high. We are one of the districts in the country that offers and passes more AP courses for African American students and low-income students than many other urban school districts. And I could not be more proud that so many of our students, like Aaron, are yearning to take their academics to the next level. But we have to do more. You can clap. We will spend the next few years redesigning, redefining, and recreating the high school experience of our young people. We will make sure that you, our families and community members, are doing this work with us. We have a difficult course and the standards are rising every day, and so we have to do this work together. For the past 3 years, our students' learning has been guided by the Common Core state standards. Starting from the earliest grades, these challenging standards are designed to prepare all students for success in college, career, and life. This spring, many of you know, the DC CAS will be replaced with the PARC. Look who's awake. This test will match what students are actually learning in school and give them a better opportunity to demonstrate critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, and communication skills. But this test is going to be a huge change from the types of tests that our students are familiar with taking. No more paper-based bubble tests. You can clap for that. But this is gonna be a rough one, and we're gonna have to support our students and educators as we make this transition. Our students are gonna take the entire test on a computer. And the questions that they answer are not going to be like the old questions. Some of them have multiple right answers. They're gonna require written explanations and interactive responses, like drawing a line on a bar graph or manipulating objects on a computer screen. We are prepared to help our students do their very best, but we know we have a lot of challenges to overcome and that there are no easy answers if we're going to demonstrate the kind of progress that we want to see. But I'm reminded that I'm not in this by myself. All of us have to work together to end these disparities and to build a system for our city that is worthy of every single one of the brilliant minds that inhabit it. When we are successful together, the results of our work will uplift all of our students. Before I close, I would be remiss if I didn't address the boundaries and feeder process that the Deputy Mayor for Education undertook this year on our behalf. Of course, with a task force made up of community members, parents, folks who are as invested in this work as I am. I mention it because I think it's a great example of what happens when we work together to solve the vexing educational problems that we face. The Deputy Mayor for Education and the citywide task force worked exhaustively over 10 months to collect feedback, to listen to every suggestion or complaint or fear over numerous meetings from all over the city this past spring. They put aside their parochial interests and they developed a strategy to improve educational access all across the city. Now, we all know that whatever was going to happen with this boundary and feeder pattern task force, that the recommendations would never be perfect. If they were, we wouldn't have waited 40 years to fix them. But I believe that they are thoughtful solutions that help us move ahead with the work that we're trying to accomplish. We are working every single day to improve the quality of all of our schools. So the people who say, well, you can't change the boundaries and feeders until you improve all of the schools, we have to do both at the same time. But these new policies actually afford us stability in a school population that enable us to continue making progress toward a world-class education for all of our students. I want to commend the task force and the Deputy Mayor for Education for the amazing work that they did. And I want to commend 56% of the community who raised up on the Washington Post survey and said, we should continue to press forward with this. It's an important moment for our city. I want to close by sharing with you a little bit about my day today. So I spent this morning at the Cooper Hewitt Teen Design Fair, where 300 of our middle and high school students got to meet with some of the country's most celebrated designers, fashion designers, landscape designers, communications designers, all kinds of designers. They met at small tables at the Smithsonian, and there were a few students with each designer. And after the design expert shared what they do, our students had the chance to ask questions. Now, you know our students, and they asked all kinds of questions. How'd you get there? Who'd you know? How much money do you make? Right? But, well, and afterwards, a small group of students and I joined Mrs. Obama for a lunch at the White House. All right now is all right. There are some perks to this job. We joined a luncheon to celebrate the 2014 National Design Awards. This is our 4th year participating in a Teen Design Fair and the White House Luncheon. But this year was the best for 3 big reasons. First, our kids rock. Oh my gosh. That's not news to a lot of us, but if I had $1 for every designer today who shared with me how thoughtful, how ambitious, how inquisitive, how well prepared, et cetera, our students were, I wouldn't have budget issues. They represented our city tremendously, and I might add, even better than the kids from New York. Even though we aren't yet where we want to be with DCPS, the young people that are sitting in front of us right now rise to the expectations that we set. And let me tell you, these students today, just like their peers all over the city, are on the rise. We adults just need to move faster to provide more equitable access to rigorous experiences like today's that prepare them for colleges and careers. Second reason why today was so good, Narciso Rodriguez. Ladies, you know who Narciso Rodriguez is? Okay, so Narciso Rodriguez, he is the hottest fashion designer around right now. In fact, Mrs. Obama today had on a stunning purple dress at lunch that he designed. She sat next to him. Every person in the place was trying to get next to Narciso Rodriguez. And his thrilling career reminded me of how important it is for us to expand equity for our young men of color. Narciso is the son of Cuban immigrants, and he grew up in Newark, New Jersey, a city with similar challenges to ours. I was reminded today that if we figure out how to equip our young men of color for success, if we affirm their place in the world, and if we support them as they dream of careers that some of us haven't even imagined, we can grow a city full of young men who will lead in whatever fields they choose. The third reason why today was so exciting was in order to pull off the kind of real-world experience that gets our young people using the things that they're learning in classrooms to solve situations with the country's best designers, the kind of experience that the Teen Design Fair provided for our students, we can't do it alone. If our high school students are going to be ready to lead in the design world or in any industry, we have to work together to expand their options. Different people from all over the country and this city work together to give our students the most preeminent design opportunity today. From partners like the Cooper Hewitt in New York and Target, who sponsored the event and has become a tremendous supporter of DCPS, To our teachers and principals who got the students prepared and got them to the event, to our parents and our families who support our students as they aim for careers that many of us have never even heard of. Sat next to a young man who is doing industrial design, and I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, it could be anything. I could design refrigerators, I could design cars." And I said, "Okay, what do you want to design?" He said, "Cars." I said, "Okay." But we had to work together to give our students the very best. You've heard me say it over and over again. Our mantra at DCPS is not, "I can do this." It's not, "You can do this." Our mantra is, "We are DCPS and we can do this." It's a collective, it's a community, it's a village. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Let's go together and go farther than we ever have before for our children and for others to come. Thank you.
What resonated most with you from the speech?
Well, the Chancellor's wish to equalize the resources for all schools. And of course, the Chancellor and I have talked about a possible solution to the boundaries and to closing schools, and that has been the community school model. She has actually visited with WTU representatives, community schools in Connecticut. So I like the fact that she's focusing on equalizing the resources and also the academic achievement gap, which is very real, and we cannot ignore it.
I have a son of color, Puerto Rican and black, and so that hits home for me, looking for opportunities for us to find our place in a place where the kids' talent is recognized and developed. That's not, shouldn't be taken for granted, and so for me it hits home, it's very personal.
I've had a chance to work with so many different students around the country, and I see the competitiveness and the ambition and drive that they have. So to see how DCPS is preparing our students for those opportunities, it's a wonderful thing. It's very exciting.
I think the whole looking beyond school and getting them involved in career tracks, that's remarkable because for a lot of people, a high school graduation is the last school they'll have, and that's fine. But if you just leave them with nothing at that point, then you're not helping them.